All right, all right. Oh, my thing is not. What's up, guys? I'm trying to. My thing is frozen, so I can't. Damn it, I can't. That is a glitch with OBS. Because it's not showing my new. Does that fix the issue? No. Bummer, bummer. Hold on a second. Maybe I could fix it. Got to add a new. No, that's the wrong one. Might be able to fix this. Might be able to fix this. Give me just 1 second here, guys. Um, well, if we were to hold on, do the existing. Oh, okay. No, no, it's still the wrong one. Oh man, there's a glitch. That is a glitch with OBS. Just give me another second here, guys. We'll add a. This may or may not work. What I'm about to do right now. That's not the one we want. We want. Oh man, I think it's this one. Yeah, yeah, this is what we want. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's better. Okay, so we just got to move. We got to move a couple things around here. So I guess I have to close out every time I want to do a new stream. I got to close out OBS and reopen it, which kind of just an extra step, but it's okay. All right, let's see right here. So yeah, okay, okay. Let me just move this over just a little bit more. That looks perfect. What is up, guys? Evan Aldo here. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the live stream. What's up, Justin? We're going to get into some analysis. We had the big news, not really that big of a news story, but we had some news come out. The Fed said that they're still worried about inflation, that we could have more rate hikes ahead, and not a surprise there. Not a surprise. Nothing that we couldn't have already kind of guessed here. We have the next FOMC meeting September 20th, so obviously that's kind of already factored in. That pricing is already factored in. So could we see a little bit of jump in the markets right now? Potentially, yes, and we'll talk about that in a second. Inflation Reduction Act, it's hilarious for Inflation Reduction Act. All these things really do the opposite of what they say. But yeah, obviously more rate hikes. So let's go on to the where is FOMC meeting odds? I think it's FME. Yeah, this guy. Let's take a look at this guy. And so at the next meeting, most likely it's still going to be a pause. The people are saying still going to be a pause unless that changes. So we're still kind of factored in for pauses here, which makes me think the market could kind of go down in that surprise of maybe a rate hike in, maybe potentially a rate hike in September, because the current rate is there, so that's factoring in pause. So we have to definitely see. We have to definitely see what happens here, but ultimately, from a macro perspective here, this is pretty much still intact. A decline into potentially the next few months, potentially end of the year, similar to what happened in 2019. Will we break that structure from what happened in 2019? Maybe, but we haven't even started that structure too much yet because we haven't even come down that much. We're still at 29K here, just watching paint dry to a certain extent. 2-day red dot, money flow coming out. You guys know this most likely will bring you down lower. This could be the catalyst down to 27 here. This could be a nice catalyst down to potentially 27. If we do want to look at another thing to show you guys, if we do want to look at this kind of trajectory here, this would be a longer down to 24. I think it would be kind of steeper than that. But is that a possibility? So kind of looking at that trajectory right now. And yeah, I mean, let's go on the chart that's marked up a little bit more. Short term here, kind of looking like, in my opinion, on these larger time frames, money flow, based on money flow, like you could come down and test the volume area high right there. If you lose that, that's where it gets a little hazy. You're probably headed down to 28K around there, that psychological area. Big fib level, point of control, spiral lines. You got a lot of stuff. You got a lot of stuff down there. Actually, there are. And we're kind of messing around with those spiral lines right there. This could be the place where we finally kind of lose them for good here, potentially. However, more on the bullish case for the short term. 4 yellow X's on the hourly. Look for sell exhaustion. Could come up a little bit here. Also bull div, or is this a bull div? I don't think it's a true bull div, but from back there, it is a true bull div from 2 hour from back there. So yeah, I do think you may have a little bit more. Upward momentum. back to 29.3. If we kind of repeat what we're looking at here, could be. So just to show you guys this, yeah, based on this 2 hour, based on this 6 minute here, this could be a relatively good long setup. Now let's just take a look where we want to kind of take our profits or whatnot. Well, if you're going up to that spiral line right around there, I mean, to be safe with the stop loss, you probably, that is a reverse head and shoulders too. You probably want to go there, maybe one stop loss there, but this is not a terrible risk reward rate. Well, 0.66 is. You could give it a shot, something of this nature, potentially. Something like this would work out good. And I just wanted to show you guys what I post a lot of times in the Aldo Empire Discord. Just to show you guys what I think may happen. We had CBZ, good Uniswap short. He's been killing it, crushing it here. Look at these. If you guys are interested, link down below. We got KMAC. He's been doing really well too. We got Lanacor as well in here. So it's a really, really good community. You guys could ask all of us questions and all that. Check it out. Link down below if you want to talk. We do. I will do some voice calls with you guys as soon as I get some time. Pretty soon, hopefully. Maybe you might even do one tomorrow. And yeah, but just wanted to show you potential. I might want to take actually this Bitcoin alone potential. BCC long setup on 6 minute money flow crossover and 2 hour bullish div printing. Also a bit of a reverse head and shoulders that we are breaking out of. So this could be one possibility, guys. This could be one possibility. I had the E short do well. A lot of good trades lately, so I'm being a little careful. But I do like the potential here. You are hitting some traffic, so short term there may be a little bit of a better entry here. Maybe a little bit of a better entry, but but that 3 minute kind of looks like we got a little bit more. So nothing looking too, nothing like that 3 hour snake eyes as well. What do you guys think? I might want to give this a little bit of a shot here. Potentially for a live trade for you guys. Because you're trading the breakout there. Now, what we want to actually, is if we look at the neckline, that's the neckline. If we want to put this, where's our technical target? Our technical target's a little bit lower. It's right there. And that would be a different, worse risk-reward ratio. But yeah, something of that nature. Short term, I do think you come up a little bit more here. Let's take a look at ETH too on some of the short-term time frames here. And take a look at ETH there. Hitting that point, so this is interesting. So we're kind of regaining that. We're regaining the volume area low here, which is decent thing. Nothing looks too bad. Somewhat of a kind of breaking upward a bit more here. Nothing looks awful. Nothing looks terrible. Green dot right there. The 6 hour might be worth a shot here. Might be worth a long. Macro, I still think for obvious reasons we're going to head lower, but short term now, where would we want to? I mean, Bitcoin keeps obviously ETH keeps bleeding against Bitcoin in this environment. We'll talk about that in a second, but if we wanted to, it's giving us our, trying to trade kind of that breakdown. You are hitting some, obviously, resistance right there, though. Actually come up a little bit more. What do you guys think? Do you think we're going to come up a little bit more here? Don't be shy in the chat, guys. Don't be shy in the chat. But short term, I do think this got a good shot, and do think that got a good shot. Maybe this, yeah. If you already get up to that spiral line, yeah, maybe. Potentially what I'm kind of looking at here. Either that point or up there. Total 2, blood diamond on the 2 week. I think that will play out, and hopefully I think It would be nice if we could just kind of, finish this quickly rather than a slow bleed down like over here, from the summer. And we've kind of already started that because you got to realize total 2 topped out in April. Oh man, total 2 topped out in April. It didn't top out until June of 2019. So if we map it out like this, let's take a look here. Let's take a little look here. Do it like this. Don't count the pandemic. Topped out right there. That would be a quick drop down for the next month. That'd be a quick drop down. It could be different this time, though. Obviously, we don't know, exactly what's going to happen here, but that's that possibility for total 2 right there. This could be somewhat of also a wyke-off where you come down to that 400 or something. Potentially. Where was the, if it's like this, where was the trajectory for that? I know it's all, yeah, that's low. That's really freaking low. I don't think it's going to be that bad, but we'll see. We will definitely have to see. And then some of these guys, yeah, Sol I think is going to generally come down. Short term could be a little bit more bullish. If I wanted to take a trade like right now, it'd probably be something like this. I don't know if you're going to get that high though. The next, kind of traffic stop is right there. 29.3. So yeah. What's up, NBF? What's up, Aquil? Haven't seen you in a minute. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to wait to buy more, when this weekly goes back into the red here, which hopefully, who knows if we'll ever see it, but, I want to see what happens here, especially with the markets potentially coming back. S&P 500, I believe, is still down on the day. That 2-week confirms in 9 days, red dot, red hike and ashy. Decent trend reversal, which it looks like we'll do. Ever since the Fed thing, yeah, we kind of started to pump up a little bit. So I guess the market's not anticipating it. The thing with that's interesting is the market's not anticipating it is that bearish, but it is pretty bearish, more rate hikes and all that. Especially when you have the odds of the next rate hike not being a pause, and then the Fed says more rate hikes ahead. That's kind of like, that could be a surprise there, and that could bring markets down kind of. There we go, yeah. This would be interesting too if you were to just look at the kind of the double top pattern, and then let's do this conservatively, like go from there. Yeah, that's your 29. That's that kind of area. I mean, if you did this very, very unconservatively, and really like 26, yeah. Not really seeing us go maybe back down to these areas, 34. If you could get down to 34, that kind of area around there, 33, 34, that's where the Fed would probably start to pivot. Got to keep our eye on this. I mean, I think you got a good shot with this potentially. Maybe that 10-minute would be the thing to wait, especially with that 3-hour too to confirm the snake eyes. That 10 or 12-minute money flow crossover maybe what you need for the jump up a bit. I think you kind of could get it. Maybe a lot of shorts were open that are in trouble right now, so that's ultimately what I'm kind of looking at here. So yeah. And then the other thing too is, let's look at the Nasdaq, or let's look at Apple. Oh man, let's look at Apple a little bit here. So 2-week confirmed, red dot, red hike and ashy candle, very indicative of a trend reversal. Very indicative of a trend reversal. Potentially to come down even more, down 162, down to these lows, similar to kind of over here, over there. And maybe we'll break the structure for the first time. I mean, everybody's saying no recession now, and then you have Michael Burry going, it's just some weird stuff going on. Michael Burry's degenerately going short. And then, yeah, it's a weird thing. I want to look at PayPal, because that's still been, wrong one. That's still been down. And you got your yellow X right there. I mean, the thing with this is, like, I was liking how the monthly looked. You're probably going to get some more sideways action with this. It may be actually getting a jump here, is it? A tiny bit, man. This thing shows no strength, really. But that weekly blood diamond I don't like, so that could bring you down farther to, I don't know, $40 or something in these areas. But grand scheme of things, I think you would kind of come back with this. You know what I mean? Generally, we get a major correction once we start cutting rates, but I think this time will be different. I think it's already baked in. A big dip might not come. Housing market will anyways boom. You mean always boom? Cool. I'm going out to buy a house because I'm investing in real estate because of that statement. So it's your I'm taking your advice because of it. I'm listening to you. I'm having trade. Go into more detail, cool, on that. I want to, let's see, get a major correction once we start cutting rates, but I think this time will be different. Okay, so you're just thinking everything's going to keep going up, inflationary nightmare. It could, man, it could. Michael Burry's going to get destroyed as usual. I don't know. I mean, I would say there could be, if history repeats, right here, August of 2015 down. That was a doozy right there, 30, I mean, from the top, let's see what that was. That was a 37%er from the top. From this top right here, that was a 53%er. And now let's see, if we were to, go 30, I would say probably less than, probably 30 would be there, low 20s. I don't know. But, yeah. Short term, 12-minute and 10-minute. I'm really keeping my eye on here for potentially to enter a potential long or something. We were messing around with Shiba yesterday. Degenerate play there. Not looking so good, but maybe some consolidation come up a little bit more with the SHIB. Could be done though. Could be kind of done. I mean, it's going to be 4 zeros 12 if you do get what you're looking for here. What I want to look at too is Bitcoin dominance, which is an important thing we should keep an eye on. So look here, this was in 2019, this area, that whole area. Structure broke over here, and that was essentially, other than January 21, essentially where altcoins started to really outperform Bitcoin for a lot of 2020. I mean, ETH bottomed out against Bitcoin back in, where was it? Was it up here? Yeah. A lot of the good ones, the ones that did good in the last bull run, bottomed out against Bitcoin around September of 2019. We're still in that structure, right here. And I see a continuation of this. I see up to at least mid-50s, that traffic stop right there. And if we do come down, a bit more for the markets into November, potentially. The thing, too, that's interesting, the other thing, too, is what we want to look at here. I think 50 could be towards the end of the year. November could be the month. November could be the month where ETH and a lot of things bottom out against Bitcoin. And the reason I think that's potentially possible here is because if you look at this pattern, so let's go on our wrong chart. Let's go on our clean chart. This is where Bitcoin bottomed out in 2018. And then not counting the pandemic, it bottomed out exactly a year later as well, not counting the pandemic. We don't know. It still probably would have corrected here, but probably not as much if we didn't have the pandemic. I mean, who knows? But this was January. And then this is August. So there's not that much of a correlation here, obviously. However, where was it January 2015, what was January 16? Did have a correction in January 16, then you were kind of free, but exactly a year later you saw that bottom. So here was the bottom in November 21. Exactly a year later, would you see a bottom in November 2023, up here, potentially? And that could be where ETH kind of bottoms out, against Bitcoin. That could be a good place. It could be sooner, absolutely could be sooner, but that's what we really want to look at. Also, obviously, once it breaks this structure, once you break this structure, EMAs turn gray. Obviously, pretty good place to get into ETH and altcoins. ETH, Wyckoff accumulation, I think 12, 1300, maybe the lower points, 1,000 again. We'll see what happens. What I want to look at quickly before let's look at ETH Bitcoin quickly. So essentially red on the 2 week here. I mean, if it's like this, you're in for some deepness. You know what I mean? You're in for a lot. I mean, let's just look at where, just timeline wise, where we would be looking if you're looking at January. You're essentially looking at January for ETH to bottom out against Bitcoin. That's not impossible if we do go into a recession. That would be a snooze fest. It would be very, I would hope we would come down quicker. I would pray we would come down quicker. But if it's like that, it could be January. I think you're going to come down at least to 0.05 or something around these lows, potentially. Let's look at H bar. So we could look at H bar, and let's just take a look here. H bar. Let's see. Coming up there, so yeah, I mean the monthly is going to confirm in 15 days. I think as long as that confirms, the all roads lead to September thing is pretty intact here. H bar could be more of an island. There could be ones that do better than a lot of other ones in the next 12 months. That does happen. H bar could be one of them. Maybe it won't be. If you look at the 4 hour here, I mean we do have. Actually, I want to look at the 5 hour. Bearish div. You do have a bearish div with money flow coming out. That does not look good by any means. My H bar long was stopped out in profit. Did have a nice long on it. Hit the first take profit pretty perfectly. And then that was it. So we'll see what happens here. Could we come down, back down to these lows? Absolutely. Absolutely could. In the coming months. I'm curious about like H bar Bitcoin. Nice jump there. Yeah, you hit that point. You could make another low against Bitcoin. Could potentially make another low against Bitcoin. And let me look at Cardano has been kind of getting killed lately. 28 cents. I mean, your low was at 22, so you did have a big jump there, but now you're just hovering back over. I think the 2-week bullish div on a lot of these things is what we need to start really being a good accumulation phase. Which that could be in, that could be in December. That could be in December. That could even be in January. So could be kind of getting into that, that snooze fest or whatever. Kind of could be getting into that thing. Well, let me go in order here. Gold for the next year. Oh man, that's a tough question right now, McCool. I'd ask you what you think. Gold right now, man. So kind of almost breaking a market structure there, that we first saw. We're breaking a little bit of a market structure that we did. Now we're coming down a bit more. However, the 2-week, nothing looks too promising there. That actually is a bearish div almost, I think, on the 2-week. I think it would ultimately come down with the S&P 500, but I think it would come down less. I think it would hold up well against the S&P 500. Can gold come down farther here? Absolutely. Some people have talked about, that area is big, 18 something. People have, if you compare this to what happened in kind of 2019 was a nice rally for gold. 2019, the whole year was a nice rally. That was the pre-halvening year for Bitcoin. It could be like over here. It could be like this area. Maybe a little bit, the year was a little bit later and then you jumped up into 2020. It could be like that. Hopefully. I think we like gold. We like crypto better, but I think we do like gold in this channel. That's my opinion. You're getting a lot of yellow X's. There are indications of a trend reversal here. Next bullish div potentially. So yeah, next year it's easier to say. I think 3,000, 2,500 to 3,000 is a good goal for the next few years for this. Let's take a look at AVAX. Because you're hitting that big point. AVAX is because you came down and then you're only, this has shown a lot of weakness because you're only above 16% above your all-time, your low of the cycle June. And yeah, that's that here. I think we need a 2-week bull div with money flow to start kind of coming up on this to really give us what we need. Can it go down to lower areas? Absolutely, man. It can. It can. I just want to see something here. I don't know if this really would help us, but that it did hit off of that fib level twice. The next big place is going to be 9, 7 after that, 6 after that. These areas are potentially big to look at. So I think, from where we are now, 40 to 50% is probably the worst you would see for things, that survive. You could see $6 potentially. I'm not saying it's going to go that low, but you could see lower numbers. especially if Bitcoin goes down to, low 20s again, especially if Bitcoin goes down to the low 20s. I just can't imagine this holding up too well. That's my 2 cents on this. My 2 Satoshis. What's up, K-Mac? What's up, Kevin? Yeah, special likes, guys. Kevin's done a lot of really good TA as well in the Aldo Empire Discord. Hopefully you guys would join it. Kevin, shout out to Kevin. I got to have you on the channel, you and Lanacor. Really good stuff in trades and entries and all that here. We have a really good community. A little bit, let's see how you're talking, yeah. So yeah, if you guys have questions, talk to K-Mac, Lanacor. I talk to you guys as well, so check it out. If you guys are interested in trading and all that, really, really good community. I think it's the best one on the internet, but I'm a little bit biased because I made it. So yeah, check it out, guys. And that's AVAX. I mean, we looked at Sol. We looked at trying to think if anything, anything that's kind of other. Somebody, or there was, what was that one? Engine coin. Yeah, Alex, yeah, it's the same thing. That 2-week bull div with money flow coming up, I think is going to give us a lot of us what we need here, theoretically. That's what I think could be useful. Yeah. No, we didn't look at Matic. That's a good one to look at, actually. Yeah, we look at the Coinbase chart here because yeah. I think the 2-week next green dot could kind of give you what you need. I mean, this has been bleeding 63 cents. You could easily come back to 36 or whatever. You could bleed down, especially if Bitcoin go back to low 20s. You could come down to these areas. Short term, I'm not too optimistic on this. I don't really. This looks a little bit worse than some other things short term. You got money flow coming up. I mean, like everything else. Like if Bitcoin comes up a little bit, sure, it's going to come up. I mean, this is. Let me just look at something here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's that potential of this potential trade. You'd probably want to take this. Now could be because that's like a good Yeah, that's not a bad risk reward ratio, not at all. Don't mind if I do right there. So yeah, we'll have to see. Especially you could wait till these trigger snake eyes, bull div, all that crap confirms. Yeah, would have a good shot, or 10-minute money flow crossover, 8-minute money flow. 7-minute is this could be the place. I don't know. Should I take this, guys? Should I take this trade? What do you guys think? I think a small Bitcoin long would kind of work here. Leave it open to you guys. Other thing with Bitcoin dominance, guys, is we want to see more of like this gap to maybe the next red dot, especially if you see like a head and shoulders here. That's what we want to kind of see, but you're probably going to get a green dot, and you're probably going to come up more with this. So, yeah. So that's that right there. We want to look at, so I'm curious about like Amazon. That general area right there. I don't know why this is, that's weird. Yeah, I mean, based on the weekly, now you're getting the weekly bear div, so this would be a good place to probably get out. But there was a fib level a little bit higher. So yeah. Yeah, right there, 150 is potential for this. We'll see if we could get that high. My guess is you might. A little tough to say. And then, what do we want to... that weekly trigger. Ooh, you may get a blood diamond there. And you may... So, let's look at this, guys. Let's take a little look at this. So, if you were to kind of break down from where we generally are right now, that's a low. Yeah, that's a big low. If we were to... there's a few different possibilities here. If we were to do something like that, and let's do a little bit, something like that, and something like this. That's more doable. 4. That wick right there could be significant. 4 cents. I don't know what's going to happen with this. Doge is a little bit tough to say. Starting to come down a bit there, though. Let's look at some more of the headlines. Maybe we saw the CNBC kind of headline here. I just want to look at a few others. NASDAQ down. 83 points. Dow down. S&P 500 flat. Down slightly. I find it so funny how recession fears just fade all of a sudden. Don't you guys find that just so funny? Like all the headlines, recession fears fade, they fade, as we're just hitting major resistance and everything looks bearish. Did you find that a little bit funny? Don't we find that just a little bit funny here? I don't know. Thoughts on Litecoin? I think it's going to do what it's always done, go down. I actually have a Litecoin short in, about to hit first take profit, I believe. It's doing good. Yeah, right after the halving, gapped our size. I mean, I think you're going to see something of this nature. December. It could be December. I mean, it could be like here. Yeah, December 20. That's what it's kind of looking like. Could be like that. And then maybe back down to 58 cents or something. We definitely should look at XRP. I mean, relisted on all the exchanges, which is, I'm happy for the XRP for that. But the thing is, I mean, you know, that was a 64%er from there to there. You know, from the top, yeah, 64%er. You know, I think there's a good shot coming back to 30-something cents. It's 30-something cents here. Don't know though. That 2 week, come September, October, that's going to be in the red, and that's probably the place. That's probably the place to get in. Let's see here. So you got that. Let's see what else is. Oh yeah, Algorand. We should take a look at Algorand. Man, that's not good. I mean, you got the yellow X's. You got a lot of decent things, but I mean, that could, yeah. Blood diamond on the 2-day. I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens with this, given, you know, if Bitcoin, you know, it could go to 5 cents or something potentially. We'll see though. I think that 2 week bull div is what we kind of need here. So yeah. This is a decent rejection from that area. Now you're looking more. Good thing I didn't enter that. Now you're looking more like, yeah, what the price does not, yeah. Good thing I did not enter that long. A little hard. When you got news coming out, it's a little bit harder. Now more. I don't know. I mean, ETH is generally going to probably bleed against Bitcoin, so keep that in mind. But you're rejecting from that point. Price is saying it doesn't want to be above that. You know, we're breaking down from that point. And if you look at this breakdown, you would probably have a little bit lower potential target, really 1807. Bounced off 1811 there. So, yeah, could be heading lower here. Next green dot in the 2 week potentially for quaint. Yeah, that's what we want to look at here. Short term on the SPY even. Now it seems like that Fed news is kind of, ooh, that 12-hour, man, ooh. Looks like it could bring us down a little bit. I mean, if you're like, this is a decent trajectory if it's something like this. Let's take a look. I mean, 400 could be in the cards pretty soon, guys. 400 could be in the cards. Seems to be sliding a little bit more. I feel like Biden's remarks are not going to help this situation. Let's take a look. Let's Chuck Schumer up there. Is the man walking in?
Distinguished guest, the President of the United States, accompanied by Scott Fraser.
We'll wait till Biden starts talking or whatever. Donkey Punch, yeah. Yeah, I think it was. I mean, we all know these acts are kind of, you know. Oh, there he is. Look at this guy. I've never really watched him speak that much. I gotta see like how he's gonna sound here. I mean, he seems to always mess something up when he speaks, it seems like.
Everyone, it is a complete honor to be here today. In the last year, the Inflation Reduction Act has been transformative. And I get to see it every day.
Oh, it's
as the CEO
what's his name?
Vernova, an energy company focused, purpose-built to electrify and decarbonize the world. At the start, I just want to say very simply and clearly, the Inflation Reduction Act is working to drive action on climate change, energy security, manufacturing jobs, and American competitiveness.
I'll take a look at the DXY. That's showing some strength.
Vernova, we are accelerating our investments every day in breakthrough technologies, adding new factories, creating new jobs. And if I just give two quick examples, Schenectady, New York, the founding of General Electric.
Schenectady.
Exactly. With its size, with its legacy, we've invested $50 million this year, 200 new union jobs to create the first 6-megawatt wind turbine in the U.S.
I want to hear Brandon, come on. Nobody cares what you have to say, I want to hear Brandon.
Pensacola, Florida, a place that we rely heavily on our Navy veterans, growing that business, $20 million investment this year to expand our Pensacola, Florida facility. And as exciting as these things are, the best is yet to come.
There's Apple, how about
We have
Microsoft?
going on in our nuclear business, based out of Wilmington, North Carolina. We've added 650
There we go, that monthly red.
Over a 300 megawatt small modular
Monthly red
reactor
candle.
this decade in North America.
I mean, it doesn't always mean it, but especially when you got that money flow like that, I mean.
The investments to come in our grid facilities in
I think this is going to come
Pennsylvania
down
and Wisconsin to drive the resilience that's needed
significantly.
in the grid. Or when I look at the work that we're doing with our researchers for tomorrow's technology in partnership with the DOE with hydrogen in carbon capture, the best is yet to come. When America innovates, the world wins.
Think about that, just from September of
behalf of
2020,
our
September of 2020, up 70%
On
essentially.
behalf of my 9-year-old daughter, my 11-year-old son, I'm thankful to have here today and their generation, because that's why we're doing this work. I want to thank the President. Thank the leadership team. It's an honor to welcome you.
That's funny,
Thank you,
David.
Mr. President.
Hey, he's coming on. Let's see what the man has to say.
Thank you, Scott.
you, thank you, thank you.
Sounds like Jimmy Carter.
Please, thank you. I think your patience today exceeds your good judgment. Thank you. And I want to say one thing to your children. I know some really great ice cream places around here. And Daddy owes you. Okay? So talk to me afterwards. Folks, thanks for the introduction, and Scott, thank you very much. You know,
Does anyone know where this
thank
is?
Vice President Harris, members of the Cabinet, Secretary Vilsack, Administrator Reagan, you know, members of Congress, particularly Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, who played such a pivotal role in getting this bill done. Everyone was telling us there was no possibility with the divided Congress the way it was we could get it done. And he got it done without a single vote in the other team, although that began to change at the end. And all the special guests, state and local leaders, business leaders, entrepreneurs, advocates. You know, 1 year ago,
How old is Joe
with your
Biden?
leadership, I signed the Inflation Reduction Act into law.
80 now.
And one of the most significant laws I think is
Maybe almost 82 by the time.
taking on the special interest and winning and winning.
Look at those tattoos right there.
Delivering on promises that have long been made to the American people.
I feel like 10 years ago you wouldn't be able to, like they wouldn't let you have tattoos like that.
Energy security, restore fairness to a tax
Right behind the
create
president.
good-paying jobs here in America, and to address the existential threat of climate crisis. You know, it's part of a much broader vision for our country, growing the economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down. I'm a capitalist. If you can go make $1 billion, go make it. I'm all for that. Just pay your taxes. But because when the middle class does well, all kidding aside, everybody does well. Everybody. The poor have a ladder up, the middle class have a good shot, and the wealthy do very well. The Financial Times and the Wall Street Journal initially called my plan Bidenomics. I'm not sure they meant it in a totally complimentary way at the time. But guess what? It's working.
No, I don't think it's Maui, guys. I don't think it's, because he would have like already said that or something. I feel like
Our economic plan, made possible by all of you in this room, and that's not hyperbole, created more than 13,400,000 jobs, new jobs, since I took office. Nearly 800,000 manufacturing jobs. Where is it written that America can't create the most vibrant and innovative economy and be the world's leading manufacturer again? Where's that written? I didn't see that anywhere. We created more jobs in 2 years than any administration has in a single 4
I
years.
think every president just says the
I'm
same
very
exact
proud.
thing. I mean, it's just all, it's what they've always said. It's just the same nonsense.
I'm
It's
very
just such a
proud that
figurehead.
unemployment has been below 4% for the longest stretch in over 50 years. Below 4%, and going down. We now have more jobs than we did before the pandemic. And workers aren't just finding more jobs, they're finding better jobs, higher pay, higher job satisfaction. And unemployment is down, and so is inflation. Remember what the experts told us, okay? And they're traditional economists, very smart women and men. They told us getting inflation under control in order to, we had to lower wages and increase unemployment. Not a joke. Had to lower wages and increase unemployment. But we never thought the problem was too many people, at least I didn't, too many people that were working, or the working people were making too much money. I thought that was not the best answer to how to get it down.
What?
Now, one reason
That definitely didn't make sense what you just said.
without losing jobs is corporate profits are coming back down to earth. The excesses are being eliminated by the corporations. We have more to do, but inflation is now the lowest point it's been in 2 years. When the Inflation Reduction Act was passed a year ago today, inflation was, as it pointed out by Chuck or Nancy, I can't remember which one, 8.3%. It's now down to 3.2%. The lowest among...
Is unemployment
It's
that
gonna go
low?
lower.
Is
But
it
here's
really
the
that?
point, it's lowest among the world's leading economies. Take every major economy in the world, we have the lowest inflation rate. At the same time...
Oh, inflation.
wages are growing
He's talking
faster
about
than inflation.
unemployment.
This matters. The way I think about inflation is the way my dad used to talk about it around the kitchen table. Not a joke. I'm being deadly earnest about this. He'd ask, how much is left after all the monthly bills are paid? How much do you have left over after you pay them all? And is there, at the end of the month, just have a little bit of breathing room? Just a little bit of breathing room. That's one of the reasons why we've worked so hard to do other things. Not only to get the overall cost of average people.
Oh my God, that was not a good analogy.
In addition to inflation, the Inflation Reduction Act is giving people more breathing room, as my dad would say, and it's supercharging the economic transition in key ways. First, it's taking the most aggressive action ever on climate energy.
The thing too is like the people that write these speeches for him have no economic like literacy really. They don't know about inflation or anything.
When I think climate, not a joke, I think jobs. I think jobs.
This is the same stuff that, I mean, this is, Obama started with this, probably even Clinton. Like, they've been saying the same stuff for 30 years now.
Not stepped up and supported this. The idea, why wouldn't it? Would not have happened.
Trigger wave right
This law is
there.
one of the biggest drivers of jobs and economic growth this country has ever seen. Since I took office, the private sector has announced nearly $240 billion in new clean energy manufacturing investments. That private sector, $240 billion invested. And the law has already created an estimated 170,000 clean energy jobs.
Obama was really good of a speaker. They're probably, I mean, the way that they write these speeches are probably kind of similar to how Obama spoke, I would guess. And even Newsom tries to kind of emulate Obama.
You know, just don't take it from me. The CEO of U.S. Steel called the Inflation Reduction Act manufacturing, he called it the Manufacturing Renaissance Act, because it's bringing jobs back to America, manufacturing here in America, made in America. According to leading Wall Street firms, Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, our broader investment in investing in America agenda is unleashing a boom of manufacturing investments. And we're leaving nobody behind. We're investing in all of America, in the heartland and coast to coast. You know, I saw a few of my Democratic friends not in Congress, a friend said, look, you're investing more in red states than in blue states. Well, I made a commitment. This is about all of America. No, I really mean it.
He always says that. No, I really mean it.
And we've seen progress across the country from Maine to South Carolina to Minnesota to New Mexico. The Vice President and I and the Cabinet have seen progress.
Yeah, they all, every president, except Trump, he's the one who sounds different than even Bush sounded. He would say a lot of the same stuff. I mean, Trump was the only one who sounds kind of different.
They expect their market and American-made wind turbine generator to double next year.
But I mean, even Obama's speech, they weren't much different than really Bush or Clinton, or, I mean, I wasn't around for anybody before then, but, I mean, probably even Reagan to a certain extent. I mean, it's kind of all the same. I mean, they know what, it's like what the demographic, oh, it looks like, is he losing a lot of hair there?
Keep the Irish in me down a little bit. At the same time, we're also boosting our nation's energy security. For years, China dominated.
We were looking at
the energy
AVAX.
supply
It's not
chain.
looking too good, man.
We let the American jobs and factories go overseas. For how long have we gone through this period where the answer for the previous...
Yeah, right there. I mean, you can kind of hold here, hold that 11, or...
The answer had been...
Yeah, that was a psychological 10. If you lose that, oof.
Go close the factory here.
What was
build it
here,
over
9?
there, wherever that is, and then import the product from abroad. Not anymore. We are building it here and sending the product over there.
Kind of looking more like it might come down from this area.
We're bringing critical supply chains and technologies home for electric vehicle batteries, solar panels, wind turbines,
AVAX,
critical minerals.
Shiba, Inu.
Because of the Chips and Science Act, we've generated $231 billion in private investment in making semiconductors. $231 billion. That small computer chip, the size of the end of your fingertip, that affects nearly everything in our lives, from cell phones to automobiles to the most sophisticated weapon systems. You know, we invented these chips. We used to produce these chips. We stopped. And we saw during the pandemic, we paid a high price for things that went overseas.
Sheba, I don't like the daily. This doesn't look good. I was trying to, for fun, I went along on it yesterday on the stream for fun.
In 2030, the Inflation
But
Reduction Act.
I am kind of less hopeful now. This could be done. This is probably going down.
Solar power by 8-fold. By 2030, electricity deployed through the U.S. power grid is expected to be powered by 81% clean energy. Hear me? 81% clean energy. Imagine the impact on climate and the air we breathe. The law is going to help meet all of my bold climate goals by cutting carbon pollution in half by 2030. In half by 2030. And between the Inflation
And they always
Reduction
talk about
Act and
these
bipartisan
climate
defense
change,
law,
type of
we're
things.
investing
It's the
more than
same
$50
crap.
billion.
They just use big numbers. It's kind they're kind of like news reporters in a lot of ways, the way they like spin things.
From addressing historic drought along the Colorado River Basin. Remember when I said we had a concern about the Colorado River literally going dry? You all thought I was crazy. I wish I had been, but guess what? I was just out there and looking down on the Grand Canyon, and guess what? It's coming back. But anyway,
What did he just say?
Sea level rise in the Gulf of Mexico and helping reduce the effects of extreme heat by investing nearly $1.5 billion to plant trees and expand community parks.
Plant trees.
Folks, there's a lot more. You've heard a lot.
There's just
today,
so
but
much
I'm not gonna
BS.
do it.
It's just all
This law
nonsense.
is helping families save thousands of dollars in energy bills every year through the tax credit and rebates to buy new and efficient electric appliances, weatherize their home, install.
Does he always like? Does anybody? I don't really watch any too much of his speeches, but is it always like very climate centric?
At least $27 billion in electric bills between now and 20.
Like I thought he'd be talking.
We're also offering tax credits up to $7,500 to buy new electric vehicles, and I've worked it out with the European Union. And fuel cells made here in America. For the
No.
first time, we can
No,
get a
that's not
tax
Biden's
credit to
wife.
buy
No.
used electric vehicles. And thanks to the law, new electric vehicles are going to save, this is a fact, if we do this, and we're doing it now, tens of billions of gallons of gasoline between now and 2030. That's a lot less pollution. And I'm not even going to start to talk to you about Amtrak. It's going to save billions of dollars, I really mean it, in energy costs. But we'll get into that later. Let me be clear on this point. When I say climate means jobs, I mean good paying union jobs. And the law will give an added boost to clean energy products that pay prevailing wage, employ registered apprenticeships, and use made in America parts and products, and not violate any international trade agreements. It's all in the law. And we're re-incentivizing companies to build clean energy projects in the same communities that powered our nation with fossil fuels. We owe them, whether it was Scranton, Pennsylvania, or West Virginia, wherever it has been. They've supplied the fossil fuels we need for generations. For example, next generation batteries are being made in an old steel mill in West Virginia. Solar panels are going to a closed coal plant in New Mexico. These incentives are going to help make clean energy jobs good paying union jobs and ensure the benefits of clean energy economy reaching communities left behind. And they're left behind. When they left behind, they lost their pride. They lost the sense of who they were. They lost what was going on. To reach communities too often left behind. That's the focus. We're already seeing it happen. Laborers and carpenters building solar farms. Iron workers and operating engineers building wind projects. Electricians installing solar panels and electric vehicle chargers. By the way, 500,000 of those suckers. And it's going to mean a lot. It's a big deal. Clean energy economy should also be a win-win for auto companies and union workers. You know, as the big three automakers and companies, the United Auto Workers, negotiate a new collective bargaining agreement, I'm asking them to work together to forge a fair agreement. Together, together we can make this transition to a clean energy future fair and just. And that means ensuring that auto jobs continue to be good jobs that can, so you can support your family. But auto companies honor the right of workers to organize, taking every possible step to avoid painful plant closings, and that when transitions are needed, they are fair and designed to retool, reboot, and rehire in the same factory and communities at a competitive wage while the existing workers get the first shot to fill those jobs. That's only fair, it matters. Second, because the Inflation Reduction Act, we're talking about life-saving steps to reduce health care costs. It locks in place the lower health care premiums for millions of American families under the Affordable Care Act, saving them an average of $800
Social media kids write
a
these
year.
things.
And I see my friends in the Congress who saw that. And
I mean, the people that actually watch this, it's mostly an older demographic,
Plus,
I would
we pay
think.
more for our prescription drugs than any country, major country in the world. The product made here in the United States,
It's just all
sold
nonsense.
in Montreal or Paris or anywhere
Going
around
to
the
lower
world,
healthcare costs, oh yeah, sure.
and it's made here where it's been produced. For years, many of us have been trying to give Medicare the power to negotiate lower drug prices, which will reduce, by the way, the federal deficit at the same time. Because when Medicare doesn't have to pay the high price, guess what? It cuts your taxes. It cuts the amount of money the federal government has to pay.
That's where we might,
For
in a
years,
minute, could
Big
bring us back
Pharma
up a
won.
bit
Big
here.
Pharma blocked us, but not this time.
I think he's almost done, right?
I know I don't look it, but I've been around for 400 years. And I've been fighting pharma on this since 1970s. No, not a joke. This time we finally beat Big Pharma.
Oh, wow.
Medicare finally has the power to negotiate lower prescription drug prices, like the Department of Veterans Affairs has had the power. That's
We're
not
really
all.
free falling here.
You've heard it already spoken to. Insulin. Companies pay cost. By the way, the guy who invented the insulin, he never patented because he wanted it available for everybody. It never was patented. And guess what? It costs $10 to make, and if you use everything, including packaging, it could be as high as $12.50.
You
Now
might be
those
able to get
companies
back
are
up
charging
to
30 times that amount. Now,
Be able to get a good
seniors
jump
and
here,
Medicare.
potentially.
By the
There's
way,
nothing
it should
to-
be beyond seniors and Medicare, but I'll come back to that another time. We're paying as much as $400 a month for insulin, and they're now just paying $35 a month. We're also capping total out-of-pocket expenses for drugs for seniors and Medicare to $2,200 a year, $2,000 a year for even the expensive cancer drugs that could cost as much as $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 a year. Combine all the costs of their drugs by 2025, they'll never have to pay more than a total of $2,000 after 2025.
Yeah, I think I had enough of this. Give me another second, and then
One in three seniors on Medicare is going to save an average of $400 a year. Seniors with the highest drug costs are going to save an average of $2,500 a year. And the pharma companies are still going to do very, very well. The laws require that drug companies will raise prices faster than inflation. If they do that, they're going to have to pay the difference back to Medicare. That'll create an incentive to keep prices from skyrocketing. And negotiating drug prices alongside other parts of the law will save the federal government $160 billion, reducing the cost of the government by $160 billion. It will lower the federal deficit because it means what happens here is Medicare is going to be paying less for the prescription drugs they deliver to the American people. So it not only lowers costs for the person receiving the drug, it lowers the cost for taxpayers. Lowers the cost for taxpayers. And it gets to a third win for the American people with this law. We made all the progress without raising taxes on the middle class. I made a commitment, and some thought it was too much of a commitment, it was too high, that no one making less than $400,000 a year will pay a single penny more in federal taxes. It's a commitment I've kept so far, and as long as I'm president, I will keep it. Unlike the last president, in my first 2 years in office, we actually cut the federal debt, the deficit, by $1.7 trillion. Hear me? The first 2 years. We cut the debt by $1.7 trillion. Through this law, we're going to continue cutting the deficit and cutting subsidies to big pharma and ensuring wealthy and big corporations begin to pay their fair share of federal taxes. Does anyone here think that the tax system is fair? In 2020, you remember I was a pain in the neck about this, I know. There were 55 of the largest corporations in America paid zero in federal taxes. 55 of the 500, of the Fortune 500. And they made $40 billion in profits, didn't pay a penny. Not anymore. The law requires a minimum tax of 50% on the biggest corporations and a 1% excise tax on stock buybacks when they pay profits to shareholders. The law also saves money by cracking down on super wealthy tax cheats, making sure billionaires, who pay, by the way, there's about 1,000 now, reached up 750 before the pandemic. And by the way, if you can be a billionaire, not a problem. I'm a capitalist. I'm also was listed for 36 years as the poorest man in the Senate, but that's a different issue. But billionaires are the biggest corporations should at least pay their taxes. You know what the average tax of a billionaire in America is today? Federal tax? 8.2%. You know, a janitor pays a higher tax than that. Folks, this law is transformative. And
I think I had enough of this.
it fell entirely...
It's the same. I've heard this speech a million times in my life. Jesus, it's just the same thing over and over. I mean, since all the presidential, except for Trump, is a little bit different. I mean, I don't even listen to him really, but it's a little bit different. You know, it's. But yeah, what's happened with Santos? Look, I mean, I got to get off in a second, guys, but look, I mean, so we confirmed the 30-minute trigger, 20-minute trigger wave. It does look like you can continue down lower here. Some of these don't look too bad. I mean, there's always going to be a bullish case. I mean, you got the green dot there. It's a little up in the air here. I don't know. That minute looks not bad, so you may get a little bit of relief right now. But if you do break down farther, it's going to be you got this area, which is going to be 1811, 1810, really 1811. After that, you have 1807 for Ethereum. Let's look at Bitcoin a little bit. Obviously, same ballpark. You could come up higher. A little tough to say here, man. I'm not doing anything. Trigger wave, that confirms in 14 minutes here. May add to the ETH short, risk-free. May double my ETH short. I'll let you guys know in the Discord if I'm going to do that. If you want to trade, check out FAIRDESK, link down below. Also check out FAIRDESK down below. Neither one of those require you to use a VPN. Also no KYC, so check both of those out. Really good exchanges. MEXC, zero limit fees as well with my link down below. Also, we do certain bonuses and stuff. You deposit, $100 or deposit and do any amount, especially on FAIRDESK. Once a week, we pick out somebody who deposited and did one futures trade. We'll get a $100 trading bonus. So check all of that out, guys. Also check out the Aldo Empire. A lot of good content we got for you guys. Little dry in the accumulation phase in the boring year in 2023, but we're still going strong. We're still going strong, guys. So always appreciate you guys. Check all those things out. Have a